Hey guys, welcome to Type Talk Tuesday. This is a place where we talk about typology with a spiritual understanding. In this Tuesday's episode, I'm talking about a blog post I wrote last Friday. The blog post is 7 great books to read to understand your personality type a bit better. So, why I'm talking about this and why I really want you to get to know your personality type better is your personality type is foundational when you make choices. So if you believe that you are the choices that you make, then it's imperative for you to know your personality type, because your personality type helps you define choices based on your divine design. You see, I believe your personality type was designed by divine intelligence. It was designed this way, especially for you, to fulfill your soul's intentions, your evolution. It's why you came to Earth School, is to evolve yourself. So if you're making choices based on the matrix of fear and conditioning, matrix is almost like that. We all know what the matrix is, right? But it's that vortex of childhood, social conditioning, cultural conditioning, your life experiences, your personal relationships, whether they're romantic, parental, friendships, all of these things in your life have had a great influence. A lot of times what ends up happening is to be loved, is to gain approval, is to be accepted into the group or community. We will bow down and embrace somebody else's beliefs and values, overriding our own. So what happens is, over the long term, our beliefs, our values are actually inherited, but they're not inherited from us, right? They're inherited from externally. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I don't believe that the external ever has the power to give you the answers. Anything you seek is already within, because it's in the center of you, which is your true self, the truth of who you are. So if you're making choices based on another's influence, whether it's your parents during childhood, whether it's a partner, whether it's a good friend, whether it's a teacher, a professor, a boss, if you're making decisions based on what they believe to be true, then you're not being true to your true self. So that's why I walk people through the 3 personality paradigms that I've designed that worked on me, so I know it works, because it worked when I went through my 7-year tsunami, a shit show of great proportions, let me tell you. It was not fun. But again, I got there because of the choices I made. See, somebody else can't make your choices. And even if you make a choice based on another's belief or values, you're still making a choice. And what we don't seem to realize is those choices influence us only. It doesn't influence them, right? Unless you don't show up or something. But it doesn't really influence their life. It might influence their life in that moment, in that hour. Okay? And yes, even a marriage, it might influence that. But those choices are always should be intentional to your true self, to your soul's intentions, evolution. So when you make choices, the choices should stem from the center of who you are, your true self. So that's why I walk you through a paradigm. It's a 3-stage paradigm. The first stage that I talk about is what we're talking about right now. And I spend a lot of time on that because a lot of us live there. Everyone lives there at some point. We jump in and out of these paradigms. But the first paradigm is the fear and ego conditioned paradigm. So what I try to help you do is peel those layers back. And the shockingly great thing is, divine designed you specifically to do that, to overcome your challenges and your problems, and to see yourself as the divine person that you are, your true self, walking in your truth. So we start at this personality paradigm of, it's the false-based personality paradigm. Then we'll go into the beginner's mind paradigm. And the beginner's mind paradigm is what you have when you were a young child, right? Before you got the conditioning through parents, through school, through your friends, to be accepted, to be loved, to be wanted. Can you see all those things, though, are very external? Be accepted by who? Be loved by who? I know you have answers, but the person that can give you the most love is the love for yourself. Because when you have that, it's a true love. It's not conditioned. It's not conditioned based on what somebody else thinks or feels or wants you to be, act, or do. Same thing for acceptance. So it all stems from the centered place in you. I'm looking at that now as a self-centered place. But what I want to do is I want to remove the charge on that negative charge that people say self-centered, and you think, oh, they're just arrogant. Well, no, let's rethink that. Let's think of somebody that's self-centered. And there are versions of it, but I'm not going to judge here. I don't want to go into that. But there are versions of self-centered that I want you to see. That self-centered means you're in the center of your true self. You're in the center of you. That's where your truth is. So when you stay in that center for as long as possible, you're going to come out of it. We live on Earth. We're in the Earth school. So it's full of, twists and turns and ups and downs and highs and lows. It's just what it is, right? It's the polarity of life. But when you stay centered in your centered self, that's where your truth is. So you show up not hiding from the world. You show up in your truth. You show up strong. You show up confident. You show up courageous. You have to be arrogant and boastful. And you know what? When you show up to be your true self, you won't even do that, because those are all fear paradigms. And then the last paradigm I like to walk you through too is the paradigm of the true self. And that is your truth. That's when that beginner's mind personality syncs so intently with your soul's purpose that you start walking in your truth. That's your true self. That's you being the most authentic you can possibly be. Yes, it's hard to stay in that state. But when you do it, when you practice it, and use spiritual practices like mindfulness practices, meditation, journaling, painting, whatever that is for you. It could be cooking. Like for me, it's meditative walks, because I'm such a hyper person. I've become less hyper over the years because now I know myself. So it's been working to help me calm down and not have to be so busy. And I take things in. I just embrace what's in front of me. I'm staying as present as I possibly can stay present. For me, which is hard. So you have these 3 personality stage paradigms that you go through. So when I talk about choices here, I'm going to start talking about when you make a choice, the choice shows up in your personal reality. So where you want to be making those choices is from the beginner's mind, or even better, from the true self. You don't want to make choices from the fear self, right? Because then that keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in the past paradigms of yesterday. And if you want to move forward, you're using something from yesterday to try to get to a new day. It doesn't work. Like you're there and you want to go there, but you're there. I know that sounded crazy, but can you see what I'm saying? Like you can't do that. You don't evolve that way. So that's why I wrote this blog. And that's why, if you're interested, I do private soul sessions for people. And I start walking them through their personality type. And I'm finding more and more that people don't realize, they know a personality type, but it's the personality type based in that matrix fear ego paradigm that they were taught to believe. Well, you should do this, this, and this. Okay. And you don't question it. Your parents, they love you, or teacher you think is smarter than you, or, has more wherewithal of, but no one knows you best than you. No one. So we kind of like jump into a personality type, accept it as our own, and go, oh, this is me. This is why I do this. But I want you to go a lot deeper than that. I want you to start excavating those fears, the ego, and the ways of the world to get to who you are, to peel back yourself so you get back into the true self, the truth of who you are. Because the choices you make are the world that you're going to create. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I gotta write that down. I can't because I'm video. But the choices that you make is the world you're gonna create. So why wouldn't you want to make choices from the beginner's mind, or from that divinely designed true self that you're here? That's your birthright. That's what you're here to do. You're here to stand in your truth. Not given a flying what anybody else thinks. You can't. Because if you're in your truth, you're so free to express. You're so confident in it. You're courageous. You're going to go about it in a way that just elevates yourself above the fray of the fear and the ego. And that's usually the place where you receive the most criticism and people saying, well, who does she think she is, and that stuff. That's their stuff. But when you're in this beginner's mind and true self paradigm where you're so confident and you're courageous in a good way, based in love and kindness, because truth always stems from that, all that other stuff kind of falls away. It's really an exciting place to be. You've just attained this freedom. A freedom to be you, the freedom to be who you really are. This is your birthright, okay? So when I talk about choices, talk about your choices create your world. They create your reality. So base your choices on paradigms that are based in love and not fear. So the beginner's mind paradigm, personality paradigm. Yeah. And then that true self personality paradigm. I'm telling you, I made choices. And I made a choice and it walked me right into a 7-year life tsunami. So I had to look at, why was my world just exploding and falling apart? Why was I losing everything in my life? Because I made those choices. I made those choices. And guess what? I had to take responsibility for the choices I made and to see them for what they were, so I get to where I am now. You see, things don't really just happenstance. Things aren't random in life. I keep on saying this. Life is not random. It is divinely designed. From your personality, to what you look like, to your siblings, to your parents, to where you live. All of that is by divine design. Because every time these things show up in your life, they're meant to show up in your life to evolve you. My 7-year life tsunami showed up in my life to evolve me. I'm telling you, if it didn't, I would have been like, I don't know. I would have been in a very dark place right now. I would have been in a very, very dark place. And I'm not. I'm in a place of freedom and joy. And the friendships that I have are so deep. They're so satisfying. They're so supportive. They're kind and they're true. It's not based on this other bullshit anymore. I don't care. Like the people that I talk to and my friends, they truly care about me and I truly care about them. There's not this fear and ego. Oh, you need to do this. No, I would never hear that from my friends. Never, ever, ever. So that's what I want for you. So when you make choices based on a divinely inspired self through divine intelligence to get to your true self, you'll create that reality. So do you want to create the reality from divine design or from fear and ego? I don't know about you, but I know I want to create from divine design. My little mind can't even comprehend what's in store for me from divine design. And you have to let go of some things. You have to take responsibility. You have to look at the ugly truth of some of the choices that you made and said, God, I did that. I know I have. It's like, oh my God, really? Why did I do that? Now I don't ask that question because I know why I did it. It was for soul growth. But now, being wiser, coming in off the end of this 7-year tsunami and living totally different now than I did those years ago, I know why I make the choices. So when I do make the choice, I don't step into it from somebody else's paradigm or matrix or their beliefs, or what people think I should be. I know what I am. Crazy, eccentric, Amelia Bedelia. But I'm smart too, and I love personality typing. And that's okay with me. And I don't care. Judge it all you want. I don't care. I do not care anymore. I don't care. I don't care. It's just, you don't care. Because I'm living my truth. And when you live your truth, you don't care about that stuff. That stuff becomes so inane. It's such an energy suck. It's negative. I don't want that in my life anymore. I want love and kindness and true friendships and freedom and joy. All right? Did I mention love? I think I did. So guys, if you're interested, new blog post is up. It's 7 books to read to better understand your personality type. So can you see why I want you to understand your personality type? I'm just talking about one aspect of your personality type. Choices. Choices we make is what we create. Yeah, that's powerful. So if you're making choices based on somebody else's ideals or values or beliefs, then whose life are you living? I know, it's a lot to think about. So again, the blog is up. I have a little Cliff Notes section, so if you feel like just hitting the recap, you can go hit the recap. But I do suggest that you take the time with the blog and go ahead and get a pad out or paper, or when you're reading it, just to take a note. So if you're reading it and one of the books that I'm suggesting really resonates with you, you have a feeling about it, go, ooh, this one looks really interesting above them all, then that's your true self. That's that truth talking to you and saying this one would be good with you because it aligns with your personality type. It's the way you think. It's the way you feel. It's the way you take information. It's the way you make choices. Yes. So choices are very important. They create your reality. They create your personal reality. Today, tomorrow, next year, 5 years, 10 years, choices you make are the reality you're going to create. So leave a comment. If you have a question, I'd love to answer any of your questions. If you want a guided mini soul session, it's like a 15-minute session. It's my treat. I'm inviting you into that to see if you're ready to take the next step to go to a more intensive consultation, whether it's 1 hour, 3 weeks, whatever it is. I work very individually with people because we are all created so differently. We all have many, many different aspects to our personality. It's just not this 4-letter personality type that I'm talking about. It goes way beyond that. And it should. We're here in Earth School. And that experience is completely different for everybody. Okay? It's almost like a fractal. You see it's very patterned and very layered, and it looks simple, but it's very complex. We're very vulnerable, complex individuals. So I work with you in that way, of course. And I also help you with, I deliver a guided, bespoke guidebook for you after each session. So you can defer to that. It's something you'll have forever. So when you see some things that we spoke of during your session and some of the questions like, oh, I'm doing that. What should I look for now? And go back into that guidebook and look it up and say, okay, I need to come into balance with this, or this is out of control. Or so we touch on a lot of those things. But it's so important to just start with reading the blog. You might want to sign up for my emails on the blog. Definitely want to subscribe. Hit my little flower button. I love my flowers. I know, I'm so insane. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care. But my little flower button is the subscribe button. So when I post these videos, you can it'll click, it'll send you an alert that a new post is up, a new video is up for you. Like I said, please comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. Hope you enjoyed this Type Talk Tuesday session. And I'll be back next Tuesday. So, all for now. Enjoy the week. Go out and be kind. Smile. Do something nice for somebody. Do something nice for yourself. I love you all. Have a great rest of the week. Nina Zapala. Bye for now.